All right, y'all. Rangers game memory today, the day that Ron Washington resigned. And frankly, I don't even remember who they were playing. I don't remember anything about the game. Uh, and I guess it's kind of fitting because on that day, it really didn't matter. It was in 2014. So I was back in the Metroplex. I was not in my current role, but I was filling in, doing pre and post from time to time. But I did spend a lot of time at the ballpark just being there and trying to kind of hustle and familiarize myself with the way things work and how to go about things. And, I'd get some audio and send it back to the station. But, a lot of times I was there without a real assignment. I just was there to be there and to be around. And but I kind of established myself as kind of the Rangers guy whenever there was sort of a need that could not be fulfilled by my predecessor, Mike Peasley, or Eric Rambat. And I remember on that particular day, I was not going to go out to the ballpark. I think I'd been the 4 days prior. I was going to take that night off, and that I didn't have to report to anyone. It wasn't, I was kind of able to make my own schedule. And I was at a restaurant, Preston Royal. We're supporting local new house, so when that opens back up, support it. And I was just talking with someone. I was a late lunch, and I think it was a young kid who was interested in getting into the industry. And all of a sudden, I got a call, and then I got another call, and it was, hey, we need you to go to the ballpark. I'm like, all right, yeah, we think Ron Washington is resigning. What? So at that point, I go from Dallas, I race out to Arlington, and in fact, Ron Washington had resigned. And a few things I remember, it's a unique situation because a lot of times when you change managers, it's, at the end of the season. So you don't have the same dynamics of being around the players when it's going on. Or maybe it's just the team's really bad and you're waiting for it to happen. You see it coming. And usually in those cases, while there are some guys who love the manager, they realize that it's time. Well, while the team was bad in 2014, it had already been established that Ron Washington wasn't on the line for it. There were so many injuries, and they had such a great run the preceding years. By all accounts, his job was safe. So it was surprise. It was a big surprise. And I remember the first part of it, being in the clubhouse, it was like a morgue. It was like someone had passed away. Because of the impact Ron Washington had on these players. I remember Derek Holland talking to the media and just like, it really looked like he had lost a family member. And it was such a somber atmosphere in that clubhouse, unlike anything that I had experienced before. And that's just the impact Ron Washington had on the players, on the team, on the organization. He was so beloved. And then, the other side of it, I remember, I'm not a beat writer. I've never been a beat writer. I know more or less what beat writers do, but I haven't had to necessarily do it. And a lot of it is, breaking stories or getting scoops. And all we knew was that Ron Washington was resigning, for, maybe personal reasons, but no one knew why. And that's a big story. And so you got Evan Grant and Jeff Wilson and T.R. Sullivan kind of in the walkway behind the press, by the press box on the phone, like whispering and furiously texting and trying to figure out. They're all kind of racing to figure out who can figure out the Ron Washington story to break it first. And, I don't have to worry about that. I'm just, it's not my responsibility to do that sort of thing. But it was just, the game was so secondary, and instead there's this fierce rat race going on in the press box, trying to break the story. And I don't know that, the entire truth has been disclosed by Ron Washington. If it's a personal matter, I don't know that he necessarily needs to disclose the entire truth, about what happened. But that was a weird day in Rangers history, and that's my Rangers game memory for today.